right, so first section of the day, usually everybody has to warm up a little bit, kind of get going. We're just going to be working on U-turns here, nothing crazy. We have a cone pattern here that has 3 U-turns. One is 27 feet wide, the next one is 24, and then it goes down to 18. We'll start with the larger pattern, do a couple repetitions left-handed, right-handed, making left turns and right turns. And then as everybody gets warmed up and comfortable, we'll move down one more, and we'll keep moving down. We'll go as far as you can. If you find yourself struggling and you're not good with doing the next size down, stay where you're at. I want you to be challenged, but still get some benefit out of this. So don't feel obligated to go down. Who's ever taken this class before? You guys have taken the class before, yeah. Okay. Essentially, what you're going to be doing for the morning part is a lot of U-turns, just in different kinds of patterns, but it's all the same principles. We want you guys focusing on head and eye positioning. Clutch and throttle manipulation is really going to be huge. And then to a certain degree, we'll talk a little bit about body positioning, but if you're getting the clutch and throttle stuff down, that's you know, the big takeaway that we want you guys to get. So let's talk about U-turns. Come on, come over here. So what we want you to do is, as you enter these patterns, at least in this one here, we're going to have you come in on the right side of the pattern, make a U-turn around this row of cones. So a left-hand U-turn, then you'll exit out. As we're doing this, the big thing to consider is we're going to be in first gear, probably 5-6 miles an hour-ish. Okay, not too fast, because I don't want you going fast that you're coasting through the turn. We also need to have a little bit of speed. You can't go through it too super slow. But no coasting. Find that friction zone. Does everybody know what the friction zone is? Okay, it's where you let out the clutch just as the engine starts to kind of bite, and you can use that to give yourself power to the bike. If you need to, you can use braking to help you narrow the turning radius. However, don't use your front brake. If you're riding with your front brake slow speeds and you pull that front brake, what you're going to find is your forks compress and you're going to end up going down, especially to low speed. So if you have to use brakes, use the rear brake only. It'll help you make that rear tire more of a pivot point because it slows the tire down in relation to the front tire. Head and eye positioning, where do we want to look? So as I'm coming into the turn, first of all, I want to use as much space as possible. If I start my turn from here versus here, that's a difference of 3 or 4 feet, and that may be the difference of making the turn or not. So give yourself as much space as possible. And then as we do our turn, I want to try to look over my shoulder and find my exit point as soon as I can. So as I go in, I'm initially looking at the apex for me, and as soon as I know the bike is going to clear that, I'm trying to find my exit point, and my eyes and my head is focused on that exit point the entire time until I'm through, and I know the bike is going to clear, and now I'm out. What's going to happen is, we'll see it today, until you get comfortable with that, you'll look over your shoulder to try to find your exit, and then you'll check back, and then you'll look, and then you'll check back. And just that slight looking back causes you to straighten out the bars ever so slightly, and you make your turn wider as opposed to just committing to it and going for it. It may not make sense as I say it now, but as we do it, this will make sense. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have you guys stand over here. I'll show you guys a U-turn, left side, right side, and then we'll have you guys get on the bikes and we're just going to go for it. If I use brakes, it's going to be rear brake, not front brake. Just like that. Finding my exit, and we're out. That's what we're going to do. Alright, just like she did the left U-turn.
Good job.
Thank you.
So he's on the gas, controlling his tune with his clutch. So the clutch throttle concept of it But some of you guys are just coasting through, and that's why it's becoming hard. So you want to find that right balance of giving a gas, but controlling your speed with your clutch. So just kind of listen to what he goes through.
First thing is the clutch and throttle manipulation. So like Captain Harris mentioned, you should have some RPMs to the bike. If you have 4,000 RPMs, hold it on the bike. That doesn't mean you're going to go through the pattern really fast, because you control all the power with your clutch hand. If you're not letting out the clutch, you're not giving power to the bike. So hold that RPMs if you can. Hold it higher than maybe you would anticipate, and then it's one less thing you have to manipulate, at least until you get comfortable with the process. Hold higher RPMs. That's one suggestion. 2 is find your exit. Make that head turn as soon as you can. Now, I was asked by somebody, when do I make that head turn? So why don't we walk over here? So if I'm making a right turn, right now I'm focused on that end of the cones, my apex point. I'm looking there right now. As soon as I know that the motorcycle is going to clear that cone right about here, I'm trying to find my exit. So for me, I'm looking at that green highway sign that's out there. I don't want to necessarily look low. I want my horizon to be high. So I'm going to look at that highway sign. I'm watching the highway sign. I know I'm going to clear this. And then I'm focused on that the entire time, powering the bike now a little bit more, coming up the clutch, out of the pattern. Okay?
Really quick.
Yeah.
But the key too is use all this space. So you don't want to start that turn process and try to cut that cone.
Right.
You want to go deep into the pocket and use all the space to pick up your sign out now.
So what we're seeing now, and it's common, it's not just you guys, what we see usually every morning of the class, first pattern, is there's a lot of riders that are here that are making this turn like this. And they're looking like one cone at a time until they make their way through the pattern. And the problem is, that's not letting you commit to it and get full bar lock and lean on the bike, which is what you're gonna have to do. You can make it through this pattern fine, but as you get smaller and tighter, you're gonna have to have full bar lock, lean in order to make these turns. And the only way you're gonna be able to do that is if you're focused on where your exit is and your eyes are shifted to where you want the bike to go. As you get into smaller patterns, the bike will go where you're looking, and if you're looking at the cones, you will go wide and go into cones. That's just part of the dynamics. Okay? Any questions on that? Clear as mud?
Speed wise, whether it's 6 or 12 miles per hour, how does that change as, you know, this is bigger and as we get smaller? Do we need to carry more speed into the smaller ones?
No.
Or?
So you should be able to, theoretically, you should be able to hold the same 6 to 8 miles an hour, if that, through all of these patterns. Because it's not a matter of speed. So what speed does is speed will help you coast through the pattern, and it's a good way of cheating it, but that's not getting yourself through the, and you're not gonna be able to coast through a tighter pattern. What you need to do is you need to power the bike through the turn. So to answer your question, speed should be consistent. We're like 6 to 8 miles an hour-ish. 12 is probably way too fast in my opinion. And it's not a function of speed, it's a function of power on the bike. So what you gotta do is you gotta lean the bike. If you lean the bike, what's happening? Gravity is gonna start to pull the bike down, right? Which is why you get jittery and you feel like, oh shit, I gotta put my foot down, because gravity is doing its thing. So in order to counteract gravity, what do? We give power to the bike. And the way that you do that is letting out the clutch. So essentially what you're doing is you're playing this game of lean, clutch, lean, clutch, lean, clutch, until eventually it becomes like fine movements, and we're really lean, clutch in like these really fine increments like this. And then we're able to get that bike to lean damn near 45 plus degrees without letting it drop over, because we have enough power to the bike so that when we let out the clutch, it's just gonna right itself and go on its way. That's essentially what we're trying to get to in that friction zone. If that makes sense.
Yeah, no, we'll find out, right?
Yeah.
And one thing I promise, by the second half of the day, you'll be so much more comfortable doing these turns. It's always the first cone pattern of the day is always the toughest. So you got, once you get the concept down and you get loosened up, you're gonna keep on progressing and improving it all throughout the day. That, you know, by the end of the day, you'll be so much more confident on these little turns.
So to break it down a little bit simpler, if you're having struggles, turn your chin to your shoulder, whatever direction you're going, carry more RPMs than you think you need to, and if you feel like you got to put your foot down, let out the clutch. for now, let's try that. All right, hop on. We're gonna move down a coasting, yeah, but that's not gonna power you through. What I would like to see, hold way more RPM than you think. RPM doesn't equal speed, okay? How fast am I going right now?
2 or 3.
I want more RPM as you guys are doing this so you have power the bike available.
So listen to the RPM. So it literally has nothing to do with speed, right? You're controlling the power with the clutch. Obviously that was excessive,
Yeah.
but he's just trying to show you the concept of it. But when he turns and the back starts dipping, he's just letting the clutch out a little bit and it's picking up. Everyday riding, so we encourage you to use your back brake, but not the front.
What do you mean by ghosting? Is it the deep
What's that?
ghosting?
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 What about?
Is it the deep?
You want to go deep into the pocket and turn?
Okay.
Yeah. So you want to use, like the one time you cut it so short, you didn't use all the space. So you want to use all the space that the pattern gives you, and that helps with the turn to make it through.
One thing I learned from you guys last year was when we feel that feeling of falling, just open up the clutch, the bike will stand up. Contingent, like they said, we have plenty of throttle, right?
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Absolutely.
Hop on. If you're good with making the right turn, let's go down a section. If you still need the bigger section, we can continue using the bigger section. All right?
Yeah, it's up to you. Your choice. Whichever one.
We got about 5 minutes, so we can.
All right, thank you, appreciate it. Right, yeah, good job, Gigi. All right, so this is the intersection. What we're really looking for here is to challenge yourself. Really push down on the bike. This is, you know, you're come up on something, you want to get further down the road, you don't want to mess with it. Get through the way. When I was learning this, very physical. Jumping back and forth on the pegs, doing everything to move my body position around on my seat. This was challenging. We've made it a lot bigger for you guys than what we practice. However, over the next 45 minutes, if you guys get really good, we're gonna shrink it down for you. We're gonna do some 360s in it. Bill and I can chase you, lead you, do follow leader type stuff, whatever you may want to do. I want to push you. Our challenge is to get where your front is on your bike, on those Road 6s right there. Push it out a little bit further, get you all the way out to the edge. You come over here to my front tire. These are brand new. I just got them last week. I mean, I still got a little bit of rubber on them, but you know, we're all the way out to the edge. So we're pushing the bike all the way down, getting tighter and tighter turns. The way that happens is giving your bike enough throttle so you guys actually have the power to do it. So right around 2,500 RPMs or so, that's where we like to stay to do a lot of our maneuvers on the motorcycles. That gives these 1250s a little bit more power to get us through it. So that way I'm not really messing with my throttle. I'm just sitting there messing with my clutch, dragging the rear brake, things that are going to be necessary to get me through the area. You're going to go through this, yeah, maybe 3-4 miles an hour. If you're going too fast, I'm going to tell you to slow down. Well, this is a controlled move. I want to see, you know, you guys are pulling into Vaughn's, you know, to get some groceries late at night. You want to look cool pulling into the parking lot. You don't want to go in there and, you know, 2-foot it around and then get your kickstand, you know, on your third try and then put it on the wrong side. Whatever it may be, get comfortable. You look at the concrete, man, this concrete is gorgeous today. Absolutely gorgeous. Not even sand on it. No rocks, no nothing. Trust it. Our tires are going to be warm enough to handle it. Push your bike to the area that for you guys on the Harleys, scrape those floorboards a little bit. Get comfortable. Listen to that sound. Harley dealers or the mechanics, they'll tell you, they look at that. If there's no scrapes, yeah, they'll get to it. You know, they want to see the guys that are riding them. So push your bike. So what we're going to do is we're going to start off on the right hand side. You know, you're going to come down here nice and slow. Give it a little, what we call like a little motor bump off to the left. So just a little jog to the left, and then you're going to make a right hand turn. When I make a right hand turn here, my chin is going to be up. I'm going to be on the throttle, right, in that friction zone, really watching. I want to maintain visual of the corner. Once I get lined up into the corner and my tire goes a little bit to the right because I get deep into this corner, almost to this angle, then I'm gonna look over my left shoulder, I'm gonna lean the bike, I'm gonna have it in that friction zone, I'm gonna make my left-hand turn. Don't follow the cones around. Don't look at the cones. Look where you wanna go. So I wanna go back over here. If I'm gonna go over here, I may even look where Gigi is. I may get my neck all the way around. Weight's gonna shift on my seat. My lower body's gonna be on the right-hand edge. My upper chest is gonna be on the right-hand side of the motorcycle. I'm gonna really push it down to the left. I'm gonna make my turn. Once I've completed my turn, do I need to keep looking here? No. Do I need to follow the cones around? No. I wanna look deep into the next corner. I wanna look where I'm going. Chris, right? You wanna look deep into that corner. Get to where you, look where you wanna go. Come around here, another motor bump, right? I'm setting up for this corner. Once my motorcycle is straight and I'm set up to this corner, where am I gonna look now, Derek? Yeah,
back here.
Back over here. I already know it's here. So once again, deep in this corner, make a left-hand turn, get over here, and we're gonna repeat it. Eventually, we're gonna come down the other side, do it the other way. We'll shrink this down, make it nice and tight. We'll do some 360s in here. We'll do some all sorts of fun stuff. So, Gigi, what is the most important thing you learned about right now?
Head and eyes.
Head and eyes.
They guide you.
Perfect. And most important thing.
RPM?
I like it. Derek, most important.
Body position.
Body position. Ruben.
Head and eyes important.
There you go.
Yeah.
Elliot.
Clutch and throttle.
Clutch and throttle. All right, perfect. So we all know, okay, I'm gonna get deep into the corner. Making sure that you come around this corner and you're actually going to the right, getting deep into this corner before you make that left-hand turn. That's gonna keep you, all right? You gotta get that bike over here and then you're gonna whip it the other way. And it just allows the mechanics of the bike to get you around the corner a lot better. So many people wanna come straight across. Don't do that. Can you make it? Maybe. Does it look good? No. Does it achieve what we want to? Absolutely not. So get into this corner and get whipped around, get back out. So you guys want to come over here to the middle, kind of gaggle up. Bill's going to hit it up. Listen to his throttle. Watch his body position. He sits pretty straight up. I like to move around a lot more. However, listen to the body position. Watch where his head and eyes are going. So we've got the throttle, right? It's about 2,000 RPMs for us. He's really leaning to the right as he's looking. Now he's picking out his corner. He's getting deep into that corner. Look how his motorcycle went to the right before it goes back to the left. Making that turn. You hear the power on the bike, all right? You're not killing the engine, but you're giving it enough to make that turn. If you need to drag your rear brake, drag your rear brake. Just make sure you're not popping on and off of it so you go down the place like a rodeo car. So right now, right? Yep, making left-hand turns, now next to right-hand turn. Each time making sure his clutch is in the proper position. Coming in and off of it a little bit to slow him down because he's not using his rear brake. Perfect, and that's what we're looking for. Nice controlled move. Head and chin was up. You know, he's looking around. He's not tracking each cone. Don't track the cones. Just follow. So, all right. Any questions?
Let's hear that Honda purr.
Let's do it.
Those RPM. There you go. Now start looking down that way. Drag that brake a little. Slow down. Look at me. Give some gas. Give some gas. Give some gas. You got it. Throttle, throttle, throttle. And then go this way. Same thing. I want to hear those RPMs. Good job. Look at me. Out here. RPMs, RPMs, and then out. Good job. Gigi, show how it's done. Make some circles for me. Throttle through. Throttle, throttle, throttle. He's ready to do a circle here.
Yep.
Yep, keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going. Throttle, throttle, throttle. Yes. Over there.
it was a pleasure, and they all taught themselves. Now, if certain things are messing you up, no big deal. I hung out with this guy by himself, personal training with me for hundreds of hours. You know, don't beat yourself up too bad if you're not making it. Just whatever you learn here, see here, go practice in a parking lot, right? They didn't teach you my acronym, trademarked, copyrighted, and I will sue you if you use it. It's LLT, look, lean, throttle, look, lean, throttle. You too should remember, that's all you should be thinking today. Let's expand upon that. Look where you want to go, right? He just turned his head. See what happened to his head and his whole body? It turns, right? Look, the lean. My bike's in the perfect position for a left-hand turn. Okay, so we're doing these patterns, what's 5, 8 miles an hour, slow speed stuff, right? It's not a track, I ride track as well too. I tell my guys, when you're leaning the bike, let's just go through the whole acronym. So I'm gonna look, I'm turning left, my head's turning, right? The lean aspect is I'm leaning the bike downward towards my turn, and I'm counter leaning my booty, my body, right? Because you wanna be, what I tell my guys, on top of the world. You start leaning this way, guess what's gonna happen at that speed? You're gonna be on the bottom of the world, right? So think about that. If I'm riding track, that's different. I'm here, okay? But we're not doing that. We're doing emergency patterns that require slower speeds and body movement or counter movement, right? Finally, the T is for throttle. So when you start letting out your clutch and it starts giving or slipping at that point, where it starts to give, that's where you want the clutch. That's where you want to hold it, and then the throttle comes up, and you have that nice. Usually the Harleys do it really well. They're like, that's where you want it. What happens if I do this?
No power.
No power. Straight down. Can you imagine that on a lean? Right? So this guy could be like this, and you could raise the moon at 14,000 RPMs. The bike's not going to go anywhere until you do what? That. Then you're popping a wheelie and you're in the toolies, right? So remember that. It's really important. Look, lean, throttle. Look, lean, throttle, right? What you guys have already learned, and like Steven said, you're in the easier pattern. Sorry, I cuss a lot sometimes, so there's adult language here. Just, you know, like when you go to the movies, 14 plus or whatever. Tell my guys, especially when you go to the keyhole, you're gonna learn the oh shit feeling. What is the oh shit feeling? That's when you feel the full, which you felt over there and over there, the full weight of your bike. Scary, right? If you're not used to it. Today is about learning about your bike. You should learn everything about your bike. The oh shit feeling, how heavy it feels, your braking, which we will do later, how it responds in an emergency braking situation. You should ride your bike to its full capacity. Let me slow down. To your experience, equal to your experience. Don't override your bike. That's when you get into accidents. Finally, when you're doing your turns, you have this cool thing where this foot is. It's called the rear brake. They should have told you, drag that rear brake. Don't stop it, drag it. If you can use your front brake and drag your front brake or trail brake, great. I'm not here to change you. But you have to use it properly. If you don't, what happens when you stomp this guy? Why? You have 2 calipers, 2 rotors. It's gonna make, right? The rear brake will do the same thing, it just won't be as harsh. When do you use the rear brake? Splitting lanes, or you should be, in the highway, keeping it when it's real narrow, and then somebody comes up and you're like, oh, and you're puckering. That's when that rear brake should be used, right? Because if you do this, guys, see you later. Okay. Crazy analogy, but this is what I got, and Steven knows how I am. The oh shit feeling. You ever have to go to the bathroom really bad and poop? That's the oh shit feeling. So when you're in that keyhole, you gotta hold it. And once you hold it, it's a horrible feeling when you gotta hold your poop, right? But once you hold it for a couple seconds, you get to release and you're done. It only lasts so long, the oh shit feeling, right? Get used to it, learn your bike. Learn that way. This is 700 to 750 pound bike. We had to learn that too. It's heavy, okay? Finally, let me get off this. One of the pleasures of being who I am, I'm Hawaiian, Filipino, Mexican, I'm sure they're Spaniard in it. The best thing about that, I've got the best hips in town, baby, right? My people can dance. Riding a motorcycle, I think back in my life, I played football, I'm a fight instructor. It's all in the hips. Everything we do is in these hips. The power's in the hips, in the lower body. you perform that right, you can basically ride your bike doing this, right? That's what the lean and throttle is about. Here, it's a dance. Dancing with your wife, it's a dance. You move together with this machine. I always tell people I used to do carpentry. I used to work with big saws. The saw will do whatever you want. You stick your hand in there, what's the saw gonna do? Chop it right off, because that's what you told it to do. It's dangerous. These are dangerous. But they will do exactly what you tell them to do. You want to turn left, it's going to turn left. Okay? Relax, take a deep breath, look where you're at. Look at the kids, they're having fun, we're all having fun. You don't do it today? I said it already. It's fine, work on it. Just work on it. We're here to have fun, as much fun as possible. Don't ride it over your means. Look clean throttle, look clean throttle, look clean throttle. It works, trust me. It worked with all these guys I've trained, and they still do it today. And when does it work? Especially out there. This is where you want to make mistakes, so you don't make them out there, right? Okay. Steven?
We're going to start on what we call the offset 90s. My bike is set up where you guys will start. So rather than rolling in and picking up speed, that's going to mess you up, because you're going to pick up speed going towards the ocean, because the parking lot slopes a little bit. So when you guys come in, when it's your turn, start at the cones and then start the pattern, okay? But basically the gist of it is you're gonna start on this gate here, you're gonna make a right turn, you're gonna go through the bottom gate, you're gonna come back uphill, go through this top gate, back to the bottom, back to the top, back to the bottom. When you do that, set yourself up so you're gonna aim for the top cone, bottom cone, top cone, bottom cone, top cone, bottom cone. That's gonna allow your front wheel to get, well, if we're going towards the bottom, you're gonna get your front wheel towards the bottom cone to allow your rear wheel cheat to get around the inside one. Because as your bike rotates, it's not gonna go on a correct or on a direct 90-degree angle, right? So where your front wheels go, your rear wheel is gonna trail just to the inside. Or you have saddlebags and stuff like that. So go down to get your tires set up for the top cone. Once you know you're gonna make it through the cones, start looking back towards these ones over here to get your bike to rotate around to allow yourself to get back up into that next cone pattern. So essentially it's gonna look like kind of big sweeping S's through the gates, okay? Super basic. I'm probably giving you guys more information and you're gonna overthink it. All you gotta do is get from this gate to that gate, to this gate, to that gate, to this gate, to that. Once you're done over there, whoever goes first, line up by the dumpster and the charcoal bin over there. Have everybody will go through it one at a time. You'll all be in a line down there, and then we'll come back this way. Depending on how well you guys do, since this is the warm-up, you guys already been through the harder ones. If you guys get through this in a breeze, we'll go there and back, and then we'll just get on to the next pattern, which is the keyhole.
Piggybacking on what he's saying, one of the big things you guys would do, and you probably noticed there, keep a high level of horizon with your head. Sometimes people, you start looking down. You look down, you go down. You look at cones, you're going to go towards those cones, right? You two are married, right? He had commitment problems when you first started, right? But now he bought it, right? That's what women say. We have commitment problems, all right? So once you go through the first gate, you're going through the second gate, you commit. Quit looking at it. I'm done. You're looking at the next commitment, which is the next gate, and then the next gate, and then the next gate. Man, we're going to show these ladies we don't have commitment problems today, okay? Ladies, some of you have commitment problems. Okay, ready? Go for it. Told you how many nationalities we'll get to. We're going to do it on both sides, like we did on both sides over there. So essentially, he's going to come through here, wrap around, and come back out this gate. We call these gates. Entries are called gates to us. You guys do understand, and you should have been instructed that everything you're doing here is what we do as motors. These are the patterns we practice on. They're just blowing. They didn't. She asked me a great question in reference to like turns on the highway and how she would be counterleaning. And the stuff you're doing here, I would equate it as stuff that you do in town. Like you see something, you're like, oh crap, I got to turn around, right? So you're not leaning with the bike, you're counterbalancing or counterleaning the bike and changing the lane angle so you make that turn. This is where the LLT really has to happen, okay? Remember the oh shit feeling? The holding you poop? Here it is. You're gonna feel the full weight of your bike. The full weight of your bike. Relax, take a deep breath while you're doing it. You can hold your breath as you're doing it, but let it out when you let it out, you know what I mean? So, I highly suggest you use the whole pattern. This is where you start picking your cones, placement of cones. Remember though, I can turn this way and I can see on right there. You can choose your cone and still see it right there. So when you come in, Steven's more than likely going to choose this cone. I dare you to try to hit it. You're not going to hit it. That's your first cone with your head up. Your second cone is going to be over here, right here. You're about 50% done of the pattern. Remember the commitment problems we have, men? You need to commit. Told the other groups, when I did my professional courses, I had these really, you know, harsh instructors wearing red shirts. They were honest. Us as motors, we don't quit. You with me today, being trained by me, do not quit. Because I don't want you to quit here, because if you quit out there, it's going to be fatal or a serious injury. Don't quit. Trust yourself. Trust the bike. All these bikes, I don't know if I told you my story, I'm a motorcycle whisperer. All your bikes are dinosaurs, right? The Harleys are the big plant-eating dinosaurs, right? The other Harleys and the sports bikes are much like our BMW. They will, what I'm saying is they will all make the turn. The ones that have the most problem, but she's on that red bike, are the crotch rockets. They're the Tyrannosaurus Rex. So the LLT has to happen really well. But she's really good, man. Look at her do her thing over there. Look, lean throttle. So what I'm saying, that's a harder bike to do it, and she's doing it. It's just experience, right? Like I was telling you, feeling comfortable with your bike. Holding your shit, so to speak. Sorry, he's filming me. It's not the greatest. He's gonna have to bleep that out later. So once you're here, commit to going out that gate. He's gonna come around, he's gonna go through here. You can choose this cone if you want, come to this one, but really, once you're here, your mindset should be, I'm getting the boop out of here, this pattern. I held my whatever, like Danny told me, because he's recording me, I'm not gonna say it. I held it, I'm gonna release, I'm gone, okay? So everybody shoot that way. I'm gonna have Steven do this, but really watch his LLT. Look at his lean of his bike. Look at his body, his movement of his body, and listen to his throttle. Look at his body movement. Yeah. See all of it? You're welcome, I taught him. Put the bike wing down. See how low that bike is? It'll do it every day, all day, twice on Sunday. All your bikes will. All your bikes will. It comes with experience. It comes with being comfortable and persistent. The bike that's going to make it the easiest is the dirt bike. It has the best turn radius out of all the bikes. And the rest of them have less turn radius, but will make it. Here's where you're holding your shit. It's gonna feel uncomfortable, but you gotta get uncomfortable for a while to feel comfortable, if that even makes sense at all. Nice and easy. One of us, the last thing I'm gonna say, will be in the center saying, look at me, look at me, look at me. But this is what happens. And you probably did it over here. I call it the peekaboo syndrome. These are brighter than my uniform. I just turned 50. This handsome face, I'm still handsome. I don't care what any of you say. It's gonna save you every day. So if I'm saying, look at me, look at me. But what happens is they go, Danny's in the middle, look at me. The peekaboo. Back to the cone, back to the cone, back to the cone. Before you know it, you're out here. Just look at me. I'm gonna send you to the promised land. Relax. Make sure that throttle's up. LLT. Look. Lean. Body this way. Throttle. Makes sense, and it doesn't make sense when you're doing it, right? It's like, oh, I don't want to listen to Danny. That's all you got to think about. Trust me, folks. Been teaching it for a while. That's all you got to think about when you're doing it, okay? So who's ever first? There you go.
Faster stuff, more collision evasion, emergency braking like we said. I lied to you. So we are going to do this serpentine down at the end, which is still more low speed, tight maneuvering type stuff. Well, you're not going to have nearly as much time. We're going to be rotating a lot more. We're going to get started here in a couple minutes, and then we're going to go for an hour and a half, 90 minutes straight. You'll hit 3 different stations. Every 30 minutes we'll rotate. We're not going to take a break. So it is a little bit of a longer portion, so if you have to use the head or something like that, let your instructor know that, hey, I'm going to be stepping away, and then we'll coordinate that, because some of these scenarios or exercises, because of their nature, it's going to be very controlled in your movement. We want to make sure that we're coordinating that so that we don't have people going against each other, different directions, that kind of thing. So if you can make it to an hour and a half, cool. We'll have an extended break then, and then we'll do our last drill. Because we are doing some higher speed stuff, safety is going to be really important. If you look out on the track, there's a row of cones that very similar to what we were doing this morning. We're going to do more U-turns, although we're just going to combine them into a series of U-turns. So it's like a serpentine type shape. We'll have you enter in from this side, and you'll make a left, a right, and then a left U-turn to exit out, all in order. It's one fluid movement. If you don't set up the first turn right, it trickles down to the second. If you don't set up the second, it trickles to the third. And eventually you end up having issues down at the end if you're not positioning yourselves just quite right. So, just like with the U-turn patterns, we want you to use the whole thing. The trick with this is where you exit. So essentially, we want to make sure that we're setting ourselves up for another U-turn at the end, and to do that, we use our whole pattern, we commit to our turn, and then rather than focusing on our exit out, we're focusing on setting ourselves up for the next turn. So if I try to make a U-turn from here, I'm going to have an issue. What I need to do is I need to get myself back over to the left so I can make my U-turn then, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold that initial first U-turn a lot longer, so as I'm ready to exit, I'm essentially facing this way, not this way, facing this way, and I'm going to ride it until I'm right here, and now I'm going to start my right hand turn, find my target location, and rather than ending facing this way, I'm going to face this way. This is how I'm going to end my turn. Find my target, and then I'm set up to make my last U-turn. This one, I can focus on my exit. So essentially what we're doing is we're taking U-turns and making them a little bit more of like a teardrop shape, kind of like the keyhole was down over there. All right? So we're just holding that turn a little bit longer so that we set ourselves up to go wide for that second and third turn. Everybody get that? Yeah. Okay.
Exercise. So it's kind of a collision avoidance. It's like you're riding down the road and you see a pothole or you see something in the roadway. where you need to get around it and be able to swerve without, you know, causing another accident, causing a car to hit you, or slowing down to the point where somebody's gonna hit you. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna start at about 15 miles an hour. And if you all can kind of stand here, if you look down, straight down, you can see that the white line, you can see on each side of it. So basically what you're doing is you're riding down towards the cones. Once your mirror passes that first set of gate of cones, you're just basically dipping. Your bike's gonna go like this. When your mirror passes that second set of cones, you're just dipping back this way. You're not steering. You're literally just putting pressure down and kind of leaning out, and it's gonna push the bike just enough to avoid that obstacle. Does that make sense? Any questions? Brian will come down and demonstrate it here in just a second. But we'll start at 15, they'll probably go up to 20, and then... Nope.
Put your left foot on the peg right now. All right, so just watch. You're getting a little lazy and your front foot was down like that a little bit, which is a good probably 4 inches below your peg. If you're cornering really hard, your foot's gonna come right off.
This happens sometimes. I scrape the top.
So I put the ball of my feet on my peg.
Yeah, it's just my
all
flexibility.
The way up there. I know. Flexibility, or you use a fucking peg leg the rest of your life. You know what I'm saying? So you may want to get flexible in order to get that up there, because you're getting it down like this. If you got to freaking oh shit it to the side, your foot's gonna stay right there. Trust me, every motorcycle crash I go to, someone's shoe is missing. Sometimes the foot's inside of it.
Oh.
Hey, this is Sunday at the mall. You know, I mean, this is like, oh crap, something bad's about to happen. I need to get out of it, and that's where the aggressive nature of it comes in. So understand, these are physical moves. This is something you can't just lackadaisically do. That's why you want to be in that friction zone, you know, able to have that immediate acceleration. On something like this, always stay in a lower gear than you actually think. Right? I'm always in a lower gear. I'm rarely in sixth gear. Sixth gear, if I'm in IB and I have to go back to the station, I'm not really caring about too much stuff. Maybe sixth gear on the strand here, you know, in like 85, 90 or whatever it is. But other than that, I'm in fifth gear, fourth gear. My fourth gear, I don't switch it until maybe 80, 85. I'm in high 7,000 RPMs constant, because I want to get through traffic. I want to be able to zip, you know, for the style riding I'm doing for the most of the part. But having that lower gear in order to get on it and get out, beautiful, beautiful. So, all right, that's it. You guys are gonna go over here to the right-hand side. You haven't done the braking yet, right? Perfect. That's gonna be the last one.
All right, group three. LATS, GO, let's go.